Hello, hello, hello there. Welcome back to Grandma Ray Don't Play, and I'm Rachel. Okay, so I'm continuing with my diabetic series, and I'm going to show you how to make a 100% whole wheat pastry pie crust. So it's made from whole wheat pastry flour, and we're going to make the pie crust, okay? And this is good for you because remember, whole wheat helps you with the fiber and it doesn't spike up your sugar. Alright, so let's do it, and we're going to make an apple pie with cranberries in it. Let's do it. You're going to love this one. This one you should definitely share. I mean, come on, who doesn't like apple pie? Alright, let's do it. Oh, let me show you this. The whole wheat pastry is made by Bob's Red Mills. And you can see it's whole wheat pastry flour. And it's white. Okay? It is not brown, it is white. So it's going to help you to think that you're using regular flour. Why not trick the eye and enjoy the benefits? Okay, let's do it. Whole wheat pastry flour for the diabetics. Alright. Okay, so let me give you the ingredients for the pie crust. If you're going to make one 9-inch pie pan, you need 2 crusts, one on the bottom and one on the top. You're going to use these ingredients. 2½ cups of whole wheat pastry flour, a ½ teaspoon of salt, 1 cup or 1 stick of butter, 2/3 to 3/4 cups of ice water. You're going to pour that in gradually. You may not need all of the water, but you'll be able to tell as you do it gradually. Okay, you don't want it too wet or sticky. You want it to hold. 2 tablespoons of milk, 3 packs of sugar substitute, any type of sugar substitute you use. Okay, now if you're going to double that pie crust recipe, which is what I'm going to do today because I'm going to make some pie crust for the future. So I'm going to actually save half of what I'm making. So I'm giving you both recipes. So if you're following me where you're doubling up, you can always put the pie crust in a storage bag and put it in the freezer, and then you have it ready for your next pie or whatever you want to do with the pie crust. So this is what I'm doing today. 5 cups of 100% whole wheat pastry flour, which I have right here, 5 cups. I'm going to be using 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 sticks of butter. I already had my butter sitting out for about 5 hours. 1½ cups of ice cold water, and you're going to put the water in gradually. You may not need all the water. 4 tablespoons of milk and 6 packs of sugar substitute, or if you don't have packs, 6 teaspoons of sugar. And if you break it down, if you don't want to do 6 teaspoons, that will equal out to 2 tablespoons of sugar. Okay? Alright, so we're going to be following my recipe where I'm using the 5 cups. Okay? And you can choose whichever one you want to do. So I already have the flour here. This is my salt, 1 teaspoon of salt. Let me add that. Now I gotta add my sugar. And I'm going to be using stevia sugar substitute, 0 calories sweetener, okay? Stevia blend with other sweeteners. So remember, 6 teaspoons equal 2 tablespoons, which is what I'm going to do. 1 tablespoon. 2 tablespoons of sugar substitute. Okay, and now I'm going to mix up all of my dry ingredients. together. I'm going to transfer this to a bigger bowl so I don't have a mess all over the place. Okay, I have a deeper bowl. Okay, so now I'm going to add 1.5 cups of ice cold water. So let me get that. So I have a bottle of water here. So before I add the water, let me add the butter first. Okay, and the butter is 2 sticks. So I have 2 sticks here. Make sure it's mixed up good. The flour with the salt and the sugar. Okay. It's 1 stick. Two sticks. Now if you didn't leave your butter out to get soft, you just have to cut up in small pieces so that when you mix it in, it can break down easier. That's my 2 sticks of butter. Okay. Now, before I add my milk and water, I want to mix this. You want to take it and, like you make plain with Play-Doh, mix it in your hand so that you can get that butter incorporated with the 100% whole wheat flour, pastry flour. And you can see it coming together because it's going to go from a powdered form to a mixture that looks like it's sticking together. Okay, it's looking good. Let me show you. Okay, that's what we're looking like. Okay. Now we're going to add our water and milk. And the water we're going to add 1.5 cups. So let's add the 1 cup first. And this is going to be the half that I'm going to pour in, maybe. We'll have to look and see. Okay, and I need to also get my milk. Let me wash my hands. I got this milk here from Dollar Tree for $1. This is shelf milk that you can leave on the shelf. Once you open it, you have to put it in the refrigerator. $1. Okay, so the milk, we're going to be adding 4 tablespoons. Drop the top. 1, 2, 3, 4 tablespoons of milk. Okay, so now I'm going to start mixing this together. Once I added everything, it turned to like a beige color, but definitely not a brown color like you normally see whole wheat flour, because it's the pastry flour. Okay, I'm going to clean this down off of my hand. If it all sticks together, you don't need any more water. Okay, as you can see, it's sticking together. It's one consistent piece. It's not wet and sticky. It's really just right. So I'm going to say I don't need but just that 1 cup of water. Okay, I'm not going to add the other half. So changing my recipe to 1 cup of water instead of 1.5. Alright, I still have the half here that I'm not going to use. I'll just pour that out. Okay, now I'm going to roll out the pie crust. So let me wash my hands. I'll get my rolling pin and get this set up. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my rolling pin, and now we're gonna get some flour. And we're gonna put the flour down so that you can roll the pie crust onto the flour that you have here so it doesn't stick. That's the purpose of putting this here. Alright, I'm going to cut a piece, like 1/4 of what I made. So this is what I cut, and then I'm going to roll out. So you see I'm putting it here. I'm going to move. This is what I have left so far. And now I'm going to turn it over because I want flour on both sides. Okay, now I'm going to start rolling it. You want to roll in many directions. Left, right, front, top. Just keep moving it around, the rolling pin around, and rolling all of it, so that you can see it spreading out to meet the size of your pan. Now you don't want the crust too thick, and you don't want it really thin. could tell that, you pick up on it and you can feel how thick it is. Some spots may be thicker than others, so you can work on rolling those spots out. Okay, I'm satisfied with how this feels. So now I'm going to roll it up. You see how I put the pie crust on top of the roller? Okay, now I'm just going to roll it like that. Then you're going to sit the pan right there, and then you're going to unroll it onto the pan. Like that. Okay? Now, let's push it down, hold it up on the edge and push it down so that there's no air pockets underneath. Okay. Now, I need a knife. I'm gonna just cut it underneath on the bottom so that I'm cutting off the excess. So let me cut this off so I can show you. So you see, I'm cutting underneath right here, beneath the rim. Like so. See? Okay, now you know you can reuse this pie crust here, so I'm just gonna form it into a ball again. And I'm going to sit it in the pan temporarily. Okay, now we want to work on our pie filling. So I'm going to clean this up and then I'll come right back with the apples that I already cut up. Okay, so here's my apples. I had 3 pounds of apples that I cut up. This is the outer skin that I took off and the core, okay? So here's our pie crust. Now we're just going to fill it halfway first. Make sure you cover the edges. So apples are also good in fiber. Another good source for diabetics. So you got the fiber with the apples, and you have the fiber that's within the 100% whole wheat pastry flour, okay? Alright, so now let's start with our sugar, cinnamon on the top. Oh, I should measure this so you can see. Okay, so this is 1 cup of stevia. I'm going to put half on now, the other half on the second part of the apples. Make sure you cover all the apples. Okay, now the cinnamon. So that was the stevia sugar substitute. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is your choice, how much or how little you want to use. I'm using quite a bit. So far, that's about maybe 3 tablespoons full. Okay, in the vanilla extract, I'm just going to pour it into the cap and drizzle it. Okay, I'll do another drizzle on the top. Okay, now the cranberries. This is dried cranberries, but when they cook in with the apples, they're going to expand. So that's 1, 2. That's about 2 handfuls of dried cranberries. 2 handfuls. Okay. Now we're going to add the rest of the apples on the top. Now you want to make sure that you're covering any part that looks like it's lacking, like you need to put apples there to improve it, so it looks even as best as possible. Let me show you the progress. And on the top, you want to always make a peak. That's what it's looking like so far. Okay, now we want to do the same thing. Put out the balance of the 1 cup of sugar on the top. If you want to use less sugar, you may. Maybe you don't want to use any sugar. It's up to you. Okay, that's our 1 cup of sugar. Now we're going to add the cinnamon. I know you're saying, oh, that's a lot. That's a tall apple pie. Well, it's going to drop down. It really will. Okay, that's the cinnamon. So I'm going to say I did about maybe 6 to 7 tablespoons of cinnamon, okay, total. And this is my 2nd cap of vanilla extract. Just sprinkling it on the top. Okay, and my last handful, so this will be a total of 3 handfuls of cranberries. Alright, now we got to roll out our 2nd pie crust. So I'm going to put the pie over here. I'm going to wipe the area. Alright, now we're going to sprinkle some more flour on the counter again. Spread it around. Okay. So remember we want to use just half of the total pie crust, because I made a double batch so I can put 1/2 in the freezer for future use. Okay, this is my second half. I'll show you what's left. This is the piece that was left over when we did the trimming. This is the half that's left over that I can make another pie in the future. Okay? Okay, you see I'm pushing down, trying to spread it out with the palm of my hand. Now I'm going to pick it up, spread the flour again so it's underneath. Put a little on the top. Spread it. And now we're going to roll. Going up, down, left, right, okay? When you roll, you are putting a little pressure on it to have it to move. Okay, now you want to take a pastry brush with some water, and I want to just go around the edge to wet the edge of the pie crust, so when I put this one on, it sticks. I have my oven heating up on 350 degrees. Okay, I wet the edge of the pie crust. Now I'm ready to put this crust on. So this one, I want to put it on in layers. So let's see. I'm going to cut off this edge that is not even for the moment. And I'm going to make a nice big slice, and I'll show you. You see the big slice? Okay, so I'm going to put that right on this edge and push it down so that it seals it. Like so. Okay? Now, I'm going to take the water in the pastry brush, and I'm going to go across the edge of the pie crust that I just put there. That's so that I can put the next piece there and it seals. Okay, so now I'm going to cut my next piece. And you'll notice I'm cutting pretty wide strips, like so. Alright, so now I'm going to follow the same pattern. Wherever I left off, that's where I'm going to put it. But you want to cover it maybe, I'd say a ½ inch overlap, so that you can get a nice seal there. And I'm pushing it in on the edge. Okay, I'm going to cut off the excess that's hanging over on both sides. all sides actually. I'll just go right around, cut off any excess. That was the excess. Okay, let me show you that. Okay, we're going to wet the edge again. The edge of the piece that you just put on, you're going to wet. And the reason why you're wetting it, because it has flour on it, so it's not going to stick unless you wet it. Okay, now I'm going to cut my next piece. Like so. And do the same thing. Except this time, I'm just gonna, I want to cut off this raggedy edge. I don't like it. Okay. This time, I'm going to start from the center. And it doesn't really matter how you do this, as long as you get the pie crust on. Okay, now I'm going to seal this edge, pushing in on it with my finger. So you see I have a piece left, right? Cut that raggedy edge off. So why not just take that piece and go over here? One second. Okay, so I just wet this edge, and I'm going to go with the next piece. So I'm going to cut my raggedy edge off, and I'm going to go here. One second. Okay, so it's all set. I'm going to put it in the oven on 350 degrees until the crust is a nice brown color, and I'll be back then. Thank you. Okay, our apple pie is out. Our diabetic apple pie is out. Look at that. That cooked for 45 minutes in the oven at 350. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to brush the top with butter. I have some melted butter here. I'm just trying to do two things. Bring the flavor and a nice shine to the crust. And you'll notice that I cooked it, it's sitting inside of another pan, the pan to collect the juice that came out of it so that it doesn't mess up the oven. Okay. Now I'm going to sit it, take it out and sit it on this plate if I can. Yeah. This is why I had a pan on the bottom to collect the juice, okay? And let me let you see. I don't need these now. Like that? How about that, huh? Made with 100% whole wheat pastry flour. So you get the benefits of the fiber, and it doesn't spike your sugar like white flour would do. Alright. So I don't want to cut into it now because it's still hot and the juices will be flowing. So I'm going to just let that rest. And so you make yours and cut it open and let me know how you like yours. I guarantee you'll like it. And let me give you the word of the day. The word of the day. The word of the day is change. Change is good. So you see, we went from a regular apple pie that would be made with white flour to a 100% whole wheat pastry flour. And so the benefits outweigh what you know versus what you learned about this. And what you've learned about this is much more healthier for you. And so maybe you want to switch too. Maybe you are trying to lose weight. Maybe you don't want to have more weight put on you, or maybe you want to eat healthy. This is an alternative for you. The word of the day, this is an alternative to the old way. The new 100% whole wheat pastry flour that we made the pie crust with, and you got the fiber from the apples. Diabetics, go for it. This is for you. Alright, thanks. Talk to you later. Bye. Okay guys, so it's actually about 5 hours from when I did the video, and I said I wasn't going to taste it, but you know what? I thought about it, and I want you to see the inside, because this is something that maybe it'll help you to want to try it. Okay? So it's cool, so it's okay for me to cut it. I think I'll go this way. So that's what the apple cranberry pie looks on the inside. And I have my slice right here. Okay, so let me take a bite now that it is cool for you. Okay? Great. Adjust the camera. Okay. Oh, just look at that. Apple cranberry pie for diabetics and anyone that is interested in losing weight. I could go with that. The crust on the outside is soft. Remember, I rubbed the butter on the outside? That left it a nice soft texture. I like the taste. It does taste like pie crust, and I think that you would enjoy it. So go ahead, give it a try. Please share this video with everybody you know that is a diabetic. Help save their life. We can do it one person at a time. Okay? Love you. Thumbs up. Share the video. Subscribe. Talk to you for real next time. Bye.